Hi, Gloria Reben here again, and today I'm going to continue talking about inflation, but this time I'm going to give you the official idea of what inflation is, its cause and effects. And as I said yesterday, the causes and effects are a little bit muddy. All we know is for sure that the dollar being evaluated is an impetus to inflation and to higher prices and the dollar being less. It's kind of a rolling snowball, as it were. But what I'm going to do is take you to a website, which is an economic website. I'm going to go over here and do a screen share again. Okay, I'm going to start the screen share. There I am. By now you should be seeing a lot of different screens on your computer, and then I'm going to go to one of them. And this is the one I'm going to. Hope you can see all this clearly. Types of inflation, it's from the about.com US economy. The 4 different types plus asset, wage, and core inflation. In other words, it's actually giving us eight different names for inflation, 4 types of inflation. Okay, so I'm going to go over here to number 1, start with number 1, which is called creeping inflation. And of course, that is obvious. It's when the prices rise, but it's 3% a year or less. It's not very, very serious. It's just going by slowly, okay? At least it doesn't appear to be serious until it goes to the second type, which is walking inflation. They call this a strong, pernicious inflation because it's between 3% and 10% a year, and it's very harmful to the economy because it heats up economic growth too fast, and people start buying more than they need just in order to avoid higher prices for tomorrow. And that can lead to galloping inflation. And that's when inflation rises to 10% or higher. It actually wreaks havoc on the economy, according to this website. Money loses value so fast that business and employee income can't keep up with the cost and the prices. And the foreign investors are beginning to avoiding us and depriving us of needed capital, right? Deprivation. The other companies don't want to give us money. Then there's hyperinflation. Now that's when prices skyrocket more than 50%. Okay, and that's a month. And it says here it's very rare, but we did see examples of hyperinflation in Germany in the 1920s, and you know what that led to. And Zimbabwe in 2000, and also, I wasn't aware of this, but during the American Civil War. So that's where, again, the dollar lost a lot of its value. Number 5 is stagflation, okay? And that's when economic growth is stagnant, but there's still a price inflation. So why is that happening? It seems contradictory, but it's apparently not impossible. Why would prices go up when there isn't enough demand to stroke economic growth, right? Well, it happened, and this is very important, in the 1970s when the U.S. went off the gold standard. Now, once the dollar, and this is very, very important, once the dollar's value was no longer tied to gold, the number of dollars in circulation began to skyrocket. So, and you see in today's world that whenever the Fed wants to put more money in the economy, what does it do? It prints more money. Well, what do you think that leads to? There's something they call core inflation. And it says here that the core inflation measures rising prices except food and energy. And it says that's because gas prices to escalate every summer because there's more driving. Now, okay, let's take a look at this here. The 2 things it doesn't include is food and energy. And often, well, I'll give you one example. People who get Social Security deposits, they don't get a pay raise because even though they're primarily buying only food, that's the only thing they buy because they can't afford anything else if they don't have an outside income, their own business, something else, if they're depending socially, completely on Social Security. So because they are buying food which doesn't include it, you know, their income does not raise at all. Okay, so here 7 is deflation. It's the opposite of inflation. It's when prices fall, and this happens when we have bubble bursts. 2006, 2008, the housing bubbles and all the things that happened. It happened during the Great Depression of 1929 when prices dropped 10% a year. Now, look at this. Deflation causes a greater hardship even than inflation, apparently, because people were like, really, a lot of them were really jobless. You know, a good percentage of the population was really jobless. So then we have something called wage inflation. I've never heard of this before, but it's when workers' pay rises faster than the cost of living, and it occurs when there's a shortage of workers. Like, I don't know how this fits in, but it doesn't make too much sense to me because it's specific, apparently, to a particular type of job that, you know, there's a shortage of workers. So, okay, those are the type of inflations that they mention, and I'm going to continue this. I'm going to continue this tomorrow, when we'll talk about some other things that have to do with money, inflation, and dollar and valuation, and a little bit more what we can expect. I'm going to like get out of here so I can talk to you. Okay, so I'm back. We're going to talk a little bit more about what you can expect and also some potential solutions to this problem. So come back tomorrow at 9 a.m. Friday, last day of the work week, and so the last day of the week that I'll be having these sessions at 9 in the morning Pacific time. Can talk to you again on Monday. But come back tomorrow. It's going to be exciting. Bye.